The rain had stopped, but Duskmoor still burned. Ash coated the rooftops like snow, and the air smelled of smoke and fear. Where the chapel once stood, only glass remained, fused into the earth by unholy fire. Dorian walked the ruins alone, the black feather clenched in his fist. It pulsed faintly with warmth, beating like a second heart. "Where are you, Kiera?" Her name echoed through the empty streets. The town didn't answer. No birds. No wind. Only the soft crackle of dying embers. Then, faintly, a voice drifted through the fog. "She's awake." He turned sharply. A woman stood in the shadows, one of the survivors. Her eyes glowed faint silver in the dim light. "What did you say?" "She rose with the storm," the woman whispered. "The hollow is gone, but the queen remains." Dorian's chest tightened. "Where?" The woman pointed toward the forest. "Where the ash fell thickest." He found her hours later, at the edge of the crater where the hollow once pulsed. The ground was smooth glass now, reflecting the faint red sky. Kiera stood at the center. Barefoot. Still. Unmoving. Her hair was streaked with white, her skin pale as moonlight. Around her feet, the ash swirled in a slow, perfect spiral, like it obeyed her. Dorian approached carefully. "Kiera." Her eyes opened. They burned white, pure and endless. "You shouldn't have come." "You said that last time," he said softly. Her lips curved faintly. "And you never listen." He stepped closer. "You're alive." "Alive," she repeated, as if testing the word. "No, not anymore. But something close." "What happened to you?" Kiera looked toward the horizon. "The hollow needed a vessel. I became its heart, and when it died, I inherited what it left behind." Dorian shook his head. "You destroyed it." "I thought I did." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "But you can't destroy what feeds on life itself. You can only redirect it." Lightning flickered across the clouds. The ash around her feet began to move faster, swirling like a vortex. "Kiera, stop." "I can't." She pressed a trembling hand to her chest. "It's still growing. Every breath I take pulls more power into me. I can feel the world shifting, like it's listening to my heartbeat." He reached out, touching her shoulder. "Then let me help you control it." Her eyes softened for a moment. "You can't, Dorian. If you stay near me, it will take you too." "I don't care." "Maybe you should." The wind rose suddenly, tearing through the clearing. The ash turned to flame, spiraling upward around them. Kiera closed her eyes, her body trembling as the mark on her chest flared red. The ground beneath them cracked open, white light bleeding through. Dorian shouted over the roar, "What's happening?" Her voice broke. "It's choosing." "Choosing what?" "Whether I'm its queen, or its next meal." The light swallowed them both. When the storm cleared, Kiera was gone. Only the feather remained, still warm in Dorian's hand, now glowing faintly red. He sank to his knees, whispering her name into the smoke. And far above, through the swirling ash, a new sound filled the sky. The tolling of a bell that hadn't rung in centuries. Kiera woke to silence. Not the silence of peace, something deeper. Heavy. Absolute. She lay on a floor of black stone, cold and smooth beneath her skin. Above her, a crimson sky flickered with slow lightning, illuminating a world that shouldn't exist. She sat up slowly, her movements echoing in the emptiness. The air shimmered faintly, and ash drifted like falling snow. Her reflection rippled across the stone, though there was no water, only shadows moving beneath her image. Her eyes burned faint white, the mark on her chest pulsing with each slow heartbeat. "Where am I?" A voice answered from the dark. "Where you belong." Kiera rose. "Show yourself." A figure emerged from the mist, a tall man draped in gray, his face hidden behind a mask of bone. His voice was calm, almost gentle. "This is the realm of ash," he said. "The remnant of the hollow. You forged it when you tore the old one apart. I destroyed the hollow." He tilted his head. "And yet here you stand, alive within its corpse." Kiera's breath caught. "Then this place is me." "It's your reflection," he said. "Your grief. Your hunger. The world above burns while this one builds itself around you." She stared into the endless horizon. The landscape pulsed faintly, breathing, alive, bound to her. "Then I'll burn it too." "You could," he said. "But you won't. Because part of you still remembers the living." Her eyes narrowed. "Dorian." The figure nodded. "He walks the border between worlds. Still seeking you. Still bleeding for you. I told him not to follow. And yet he always does." Kiera looked down at her hands. Veins of silver light ran beneath her skin, flickering like lightning. "If I stay here, I keep this power from spreading. But if I return, you'll take the hollow with you," the man finished. She turned toward him. "Then I can't leave." He stepped closer. "You are its queen now. The choice was never yours." Her mark flared, heat radiating from her chest. Pain surged through her veins, familiar, ancient, alive. She fell to one knee, gasping. "What's happening?" "The crown accepts you," he said. "And with it comes memory." The air shimmered. Images bled through the red sky, faces, battles, centuries of darkness and blood. She saw herself through countless lifetimes, ruling, burning, dying, rising again. "No," she whispered. "That's not me. It always was." The ground cracked beneath her hands, white light spilling from the fissures. "I won't be your monster." The figure's mask tilted. "Then be their savior." Kiera rose, trembling but defiant. "It'll be neither." The man laughed softly. "Then the world above will decide for you." He vanished into the mist, leaving only his final whisper, "Every queen needs a throne." Above, Dorian jolted awake inside an abandoned house at the forest's edge. His clothes were torn, his body aching. Ashbourne sat across from him, staring at the feather glowing faintly red on the table. "It's not a remnant," the professor murmured. "It's a link." Dorian blinked. "A link to what?" Ashbourne met his eyes. "To her. She's still tethered to you." Outside, the sky shifted from gray to crimson. The wind howled through the trees. And in that moment, Dorian heard her voice again, soft, distant, and echoing in his blood. "Come find your queen." The wind in Duskmoor changed. It carried whispers, soft, endless, like the town itself was breathing. The sky glowed faint red, the sun buried behind a veil of ash. Dorian walked the forest path with the feather bound to his wrist. It pulsed faintly with warmth, beating in time with his heart, drawing him toward the edge of the world. Ashbourne followed, lantern trembling. "If this spreads farther, the whole valley will die." "It already is," Dorian said. "The hollow's roots are awake again. They're wearing her name." "You think she's causing this?" "She is it," Dorian replied. They reached a cliff where the ground split wide into a glowing ravine. The air shimmered, alive with light and whispers. Ashbourne stared. "That's not Earth. That's the divide." Dorian stepped forward. "Then that's where she is." He took a breath, pressed the feather to his chest, and jumped. He fell through silence, then landed on a world painted red. The trees gleamed like glass. Rivers of smoke flowed upward. Kiera! He shouted. Her voice came from nowhere and everywhere. You shouldn't have followed me. He spun. She stood among the fog, white eyes glowing faint, hair streaked silver. You're still here, he said softly. This place doesn't let go. He stepped closer. Then neither will I. Her gaze darkened. You don't understand. Every time you reach for me, the border weakens. The hollow doesn't want me, it wants out. Then we'll stop it together. She laughed quietly, bitter. Together doesn't exist here. He reached for her hand, but his fingers passed through light. You're still you. I can feel it. She looked away. I'm the bridge now, Dorian. Every breath I take pulls my world into yours. Then stop breathing, he whispered. She flinched, then smiled sadly. You'd ask me to stop existing? I'd ask you to live. For a heartbeat, the fog thinned, and her face softened, human again. I feel everything, she said quietly. Every death, every heartbeat. Soon, there won't be two worlds. There'll only be one, mine. Then we'll find a way to stop it. Her eyes dimmed. If I can't, there's only one way left. He shook his head. Don't say it. If I die again, she said, the hollow dies with me. I won't let that happen. You may not have a choice. The ground cracked, light pouring from below. Shadows reached up, grasping her arms. Kiera! He shouted. Her voice echoed through the mist. Go before it takes you too. I'm not leaving you. Her form flickered, fading. Then I'll make you. A burst of light threw him backward. When Dorian opened his eyes, he was on the forest floor again, the sky above him red and trembling. The feather on his wrist still glowed faintly, so did the horizon. The border was gone. The two worlds had begun to merge. Dorian woke to silence. The forest was gone, replaced by something half alive. The trees were black glass, their branches dripping ash. The ground pulsed faint white, veins of light threading through the soil like roots. He stood slowly, the feather on his wrist glowing faint red. The air hummed with energy, a rhythm matching his heartbeat. What have you done, Kiera? He whispered. A shape moved through the haze ahead. A woman stepped out, her cloak torn, eyes pale silver. You shouldn't be here, she said. He froze. Kiera. But when she spoke, her voice wasn't hers, it was layered, many voices at once. Not your queen. Just her echo. She touched her chest where her heart should have been, and the air rippled around her. The border broke. The hollow bleeds through everything now. Where is she? The echo smiled faintly. Everywhere. Then she vanished into dust. Dorian ran toward the edge of town. Duskmoor was unrecognizable. The streets shimmered, half real, half reflection. Houses stood twisted and glowing from within. People wandered aimlessly, their eyes white as bone. He caught one man by the shoulders. What happened? The man's lips curved into a strange smile. She came back. She freed us. Freed you from what? From fear, the man whispered. From death. Others gathered around, their voices joining in eerie unison. Long live the Queen of Ash. Dorian backed away slowly. This isn't freedom, it's control. They followed him with blank smiles. She loves us. She burns for us. She remade us. He turned and fled into the mist. He didn't stop until he reached the hill above the old chapel ruins. The crater below glowed faintly, a swirling mass of light and shadow. Something stood at its center, a throne of bone and glass, and upon it, Kiera. Her skin glowed faint silver. The mark on her chest pulsed like a heart of flame. Around her, the air shimmered with shapes, people kneeling, whispering prayers in languages that didn't exist. Kiera, Dorian called. Her eyes opened slowly, pale and endless. You keep finding me, she said softly. What have you done? She looked down at her hands. I stopped fighting it. The people, they worship you. They need something to believe in. They need you, not this. She smiled sadly. They don't know the difference anymore. Maybe neither do I. Dorian stepped closer. You told me you didn't want to rule. I still don't, she said. But the world keeps kneeling. The sky above them darkened, swirling with storm clouds. Lightning struck the ground around the crater, each bolt feeding the light. This power, it's killing you, Dorian said. Maybe, she whispered. Or maybe it's killing what's left of the world. He reached for her. Let me help you. Her gaze softened for a moment. You already are. Then she raised her hand. The air rippled, pushing him back with invisible force. Go before it consumes you. I'm not leaving you. She smiled faintly, almost tender. You might not have a choice. The sky cracked open, light pouring down upon her throne. Dorian shouted her name. But she was gone again, swallowed by the storm she created. Night had fallen again, though the sky never truly went dark anymore. Ash hung in the air like fog, glowing faint red from the light that pulsed beneath the earth. Dorian walked the outskirts of Duskmoor with his hood drawn low. The streets were alive with whispers, prayers murmured under breath, strange symbols painted on walls in soot. He stopped at the town square. A crowd had gathered around a bonfire built from shattered pews and broken crosses. At its center, a figure in a crimson cloak raised her hands to the fire. Through ash we awaken, she intoned. Through the Queen we endure. The crowd repeated the words in one hollow voice. Through the Queen we endure. Dorian clenched his fists. The mark on his wrist, the place where the feather had burned, pulsed painfully. She has followers now, he muttered. A voice near him whispered, not followers. Family. He turned. A young man stood beside him, eyes glowing faint white. She saved us, the man said. We were dying. She gave us her breath. Her breath. She calls it the gift of flame. It burns the sickness out. It binds us to her will. Dorian's chest tightened. Binds you? The man smiled faintly. All love is binding. The crowd parted suddenly. The woman in red stepped down from the fire, lowering her hood. It wasn't Kiera, but her face was marked with a faint silver vein, pulsing like light under her skin. She's not here tonight, the woman said, as if answering his thoughts. She walks between worlds, dreaming us into being. Where is she? Dorian asked. The woman studied him. You carry her mark, she said softly. You're part of her dream already. He stepped closer, anger rising. Tell me where she is. The woman smiled. Find the ash that never cools. There, her fire burns brightest. Before he could speak, the fire behind her flared white-hot. The crowd dropped to their knees, chanting as shadows rose from the flames, flickering shapes of faces, hands, reaching skyward. Dorian stumbled back. What is this? She's listening, the woman said, her voice trembling with devotion. She hears every prayer. Every heart that beats for her. The flames bent toward Dorian, whispering in Kiera's voice. Dorian. Stop looking for me. He froze. Kiera. The light pulsed faster, wrapping around him like wind. You'll only make it worse. He shouted into the fire. You're losing yourself. The flame roared, forcing him back. The crowd cheered, their voices blending into one. Long live the Queen of Ash. Then the fire died. Only embers remained. The woman turned to him, her eyes glowing faintly silver. You shouldn't have come here. She's trying to protect you. From what? From herself. Dorian fled the square, his heart hammering. Behind him, the chants rose again, soft, endless, worshipful. He reached the edge of town and collapsed to his knees, clutching the mark on his wrist. It burned beneath his skin, the same rhythm as the feather once did. A whisper echoed through his mind, soft and broken. Kiera isn't here anymore. He looked toward the horizon. The clouds above Duskmoor pulsed with light, a faint crown forming in the storm. Dorian's voice cracked. Then who is? The storm over Duskmoor never stopped. Lightning crawled across the gray sky like veins, flashing red each time Kiera's name was whispered. The ash never settled, it drifted upward, defying gravity, glowing faintly as if caught between earth and heaven. Dorian followed the trail of symbols carved into the streets, spirals of black glass that pointed toward the crater. He moved quietly, his cloak soaked with rain and soot. The town behind him was silent now. Every door was shut, every window dark. The people no longer prayed aloud, they simply waited. When he reached the hill, the air was thick with heat. The crater had changed again. No longer ruin, it was a temple. A ring of pale fire circled the hollowed ground, and in the center stood a throne of bone and obsidian. Upon it, Kiera. She didn't look at him at first. Her hands rested on her knees, palms glowing faint white. Ash rose and fell around her in slow motion, drawn to her breath. Kiera, Dorian said. Her eyes opened. Silver and gold, alive with power and grief. You shouldn't have come. You said that every time, he answered. She smiled faintly. And you never listen. He stepped closer. You've changed everything. The sky, the town, the people, what are you doing to them? I'm keeping them alive, she said softly. The air they breathe is poison now. The hollow's echo still lingers. My power burns it away. Then why do they worship you? She looked down. Because they're afraid. Dorian's voice broke. They should be. Her glow dimmed slightly, like a flickering candle. You think I want this? She whispered. Every moment I hold this power, it pulls me farther from who I was. If I let go, they die. If I hold on, I do. Then let me share it, he said. Let it burn me too. Kiera's gaze softened. You'd die. He stepped closer, almost touching her hand. So would you. The air trembled between them. The flames around the crater rose higher, whispering their names. Look at what we've become, she said. We were meant to end this, not replace it. Then end it, he said. Before it ends you. Kiera looked up at the storm. The lightning above had turned white, no longer red. Maybe it already has. The earth shook beneath them. The crater walls split open, glowing from within. Streams of light poured out like rivers, twisting into the sky. What's happening? Dorian shouted. The two realms, she said, voice trembling. They're merging faster now. My control's slipping. Then stop it. I can't. Not without ending myself. Dorian grabbed her shoulders. Kiera, listen to me. You're not alone. Her eyes filled with light. Then hold on to me. No matter what happens. The flames collapsed inward, swallowing them both in white fire. When the light faded, Dorian found himself standing in a world that wasn't Duskmoor anymore. The sky was split in two, half crimson, half gold. The ground shimmered like glass. And in the distance, on a bridge of light and bone, stood Kiera, alone. Her voice carried on the wind. This is what's left of everything. Dorian took a step forward. Then we start from here. But she turned away. No, Dorian. This is where it ends. The air trembled like the world was holding its breath. Kiera stood at the edge of the bridge, looking out over the two skies, the gold of the living world, the red of the hollow. Between them, the last shards of Duskmoor floated like islands, fading one by one into ash. Dorian reached her, breathless. You said this is where it ends. Then end it your way. She didn't look at him. There's no way that saves both. Then save one, he said. Choose something. Her voice cracked. I already did. Lightning tore through the air, white and blinding. The bridge shook beneath them. Kiera turned, eyes glowing bright enough to burn. I can't hold the worlds apart anymore. The hollow's will is stronger than mine. Then let me help. She smiled faintly. You already are. Every time you follow me, it remembers what love feels like. Kiera. The ground split behind them, fire bursting through the cracks. Shadows poured out, screaming, faces from the hollow, reaching for her. She raised her hand and light flared from her chest, vaporizing them instantly. The glow left her trembling, her skin cracked with silver veins. It's eating me alive, she gasped. If it takes me, it takes everything. Then fight it. She met his eyes. If I fight, it wins faster. Dorian stepped forward, cupping her face. You're stronger than this thing. You've beaten it before. Her tears shimmered white. That was before it became me. The bridge began to crumble. The air roared with wind and thunder. Kiera looked toward the fading horizon. I can seal it. I can lock the hollow inside me forever, but it'll never be able to come back. Dorian's voice broke. No. She touched his hand, smiling through her tears. You'll have to live enough for both of us. He shook his head violently. There has to be another way. There isn't. The light built around her, bright enough to blind. Her hair lifted in the wind, her body glowing like flame. Tell them I wasn't their queen. Tell them I was just trying to keep the dark from winning. Kiera, please. She kissed him once, quick as lightning. Goodbye, Dorian. Then she turned and leapt into the fire below. The blast shattered the sky. Gold and red collided, ripping through the horizon. Dorian screamed her name as the light swallowed everything. When he opened his eyes, he was alone again. The bridge was gone. The sky was gray. The world. Quiet. He stumbled forward, falling to his knees. The ash beneath him was warm. When he lifted his hand, it glowed faint silver, her mark burned into his skin. A voice whispered through the stillness, faint but unmistakable. Dorian. Don't mourn me yet. He looked up. In the distance, far beyond the fog, a single white light flickered on the horizon, small, fragile. Alive. Dorian stood, his voice breaking. Kiera. The light pulsed once in answer. Then it vanished. And for the first time since the hollow fell, the world went completely dark.